Hey everybody, welcome back to another WV Guns and Goats tabletop video. And with it being a nasty day outside, rainy and wet, I figured let's clean a firearm that's kind of been neglected. My little Ruger Mark IV right here. And I've got a whole collection of cleaning chemicals from the company Clenzoil for us to take a look at tonight. But first, I just want to cover something in this video. Now, recently I had my video on Wolfpack Armory, the factory tour, that was removed from YouTube. I appealed it and they still took it down. They claimed that it was facilitating the sale of regulated goods. So unfortunately, from now on, I will not be putting prices or manufacturers' websites in any of these videos. You're going to have to use Google or your internet searches to find the manufacturers for the firearms and the products that we take a look at. But this manufacturer is Clenzoil, and this is their Field and Range Pro Pack. It's got everything you need to maintain your firearms chemical-wise. And before we get into what all is in this box, how about you go ahead and headbutt that subscribe button to join the herd here at WV Guns and Goats. So like I said, this includes everything you need. We've got an 8-ounce bottle with a trigger sprayer on it, a 1-ounce needle oiler, a 2-ounce pump sprayer, saturated wipes, synthetic gun grease, double-ended brush, polymer picks, and a microfiber towel. Made in the USA, and Clenzoil is veteran and Leo owned, law enforcement officer owned. So we've got some information here on the side, and then a little bit of information about every product that comes in here. But let's go ahead, open this box up, and get everything out that's inside here. On top, we have the microfiber towel right here. It's a pretty good sized towel. It doesn't have a branding or anything on it. We'll just set that here to the side, and then here is the rest of the stuff that you get in there. Whoa. Well, here is the sprayer by itself. So the first thing we have is the Field and Range Trigger Sprayer. This is CLP. It cleans, lubricates, protects, and prevents rust, lock, stock, and barrel, and it's made in the USA. And this is the effective in removing oils, dirt, copper, lead, and other contaminants. It provides a thin, non-greasy coating that prevents rust and lubricates all moving parts of fine firearms and sporting equipment. And then, of course, it just says your directions are to shake well, apply a liberal coating to all surfaces of your firearm, both inside and out, pass a saturated patch through the bore of the firearm, and allow 2 to 5 minutes for it to break down the contamination. So this is the sprayer that goes on that, but it also has a dropper application top on there, and we'll see if it has a safety seal. It has this red little plug you're going to have to remove. And we'll just put the top back on that for now. Next up, we have the saturated wipes. And these are another CLP product. They clean, lubricate, and protect. And then this one just says apply a liberal coating to the firearm, inside and out. So pretty much the same instructions as the liquid version. This is just that liquid soaked into some wipes. You can see them down inside there. Here we have the synthetic gun grease. And then it is 100% synthetic formulation, provides superior lubrication at both extreme high and low temps, protects and stays in place under even the most severe load condition, capable of preventing wear, corrosion, and rust in dry, dusty, humid, or wet conditions. And this is 0.5 ounces. It says -10 to 500 degrees. So it has a wide temperature range on there. All right, we have another bottle of the Field and Range right here. Once again, this is the same CLP, just in another bottle right there. Oops. Get back here. Here are 3 of the polymer picks that it comes with. We've got this one with a little right angle on it on both sides there. Got this one with the triangle head on that end and the smaller triangle end on this end. And then this one has more of a flat shaped hook to it. And this is a flat edge kind of for scraping that carbon off if it's gotten that heavy on your firearm. Okay, so the last 2 things in there are the needle oiler and the brush. Here is the needle oiler right there. It's got that nice little precise needle oiler on that. You do have to press down on this lid and then turn it to take it off of there. Helps keep that closed. And then we have that brush that I showed you there briefly. So let's go ahead and get our Mark IV. You can see that it is completely unloaded. The magazine is out of the gun and over here. So this firearm is safe to clean. Take our picks and move them out of the way. Make us a spot right here. And of course the Mark IV, so much easier to take apart than the Mark III series. This is my modified Ruger Mark IV Lite. I added the bottom rail to it because they didn't make a Mark IV Lite Tactical, and they still don't. But look at all this gunk on the inside of this frame here. So probably hasn't been cleaned in a couple thousand rounds. We're going to start with the Clenzoil Field Range there. Now, it doesn't seem to have any kind of heavy smell that I can tell sitting this far from it. Of course, my senses are a little dulled with the recent sickness I'm getting over. Bring it up a little bit closer to take a whiff of it. It has almost like a pine scent. It kind of smells like a pine tree. So it has a very pleasant scent. It's not a heavily chemical scented, well, solvent or chemical. Yes, now that I'm working with it, I can get a better sense of the smell of this chemical, and it does smell like a pine tree, and it's about the same color as pine needles. It's a very green tinge to it. It seems to be doing a pretty good job of cleaning up down in there. The brush allows us to get down into the crevices, and we'll take a pick and just kind of, if we see some of the carbon down in there, we can get at it. It would be pretty easy to stuff some of these in your range bag. One of the, like the smaller little spray bottle there for when you're out on the range. And if you wanted to give your guns a quick clean, if you're the kind of guy who cleans out at the range, well, I have a little tiny bottle you can take there. Or you have the wipes. We can use those here. I guess I should be using them instead of this paper towel. But look at that nastiness that's coming off there. Let's try these wipes. Get 1 and 2 out there. They have a little bit of a green tinge to them as well. But it is getting everything nice and clean down in there. Let me know down in the comments, guys, how often do you clean your firearms? Are you one of those guys who cleans them every range trip, or do you just wait until they kind of start malfunctioning when they're too dirty to work? What kind of gun cleaner are you? I know a lot of guys just enjoy cleaning firearms as part of the experience, so let me know. Hit up the comment section down below. So it looks like it's left a pretty good light residue of the CLP on the components. down inside there when we're using the wipes here. And they don't feel like they're leaving much of a residue on my skin. My skin is not shiny, overly oily from using these rags, or cleaning wipes, I should say. And there it is, that Ruger Mark Series bolt. Wow, this thing is filthy, filthy. But it's just wiping clean. How about the bolt face there? That's always one of the big areas that's just super, super carboned up. 22s are one of those kind of things that some people never clean them until they just don't function anymore. It's amazing how many 22s my uncle used to get into his gunsmith shop that all they needed was just a cleaning and the gun would work fine again. After that, it's just guys would never ever clean them, or some of the older 22 designs were just kind of complicated to the point where taking them apart was just too much of a pain to clean. I remember hearing stories about the nylon 77, nylon 66, whatever it was, just how hard those were to take apart and clean. They actually made the Ruger Mark series before the 4 sound like a breeze to take apart, but look at that. That bolt is nice, clean, and it's got a sheen to it now where it is completely coated in a light coat of lubricant and protectant. And here is the upper receiver, or the actual receiver of the Ruger Mark series, being this part. This is the serialized firearm part of the Ruger series. Oh, look at that shine when it leaves a bit of protectant on there. Now it is filthy down in there. Let's get a new one, and that's where our picks can come in handy, because we can kind of manipulate this cleaning cloth down inside there. And I believe there is a video where a guy puts this Clenzoil stuff through a bunch of scientific tests, but I don't remember who made that video. When I'm editing this video, I'll go ahead and put that on the screen to check out the guy's channel if you want to see some more scientific tests done on this. Oh, we still got carbon. Yeah, when you can pick it out. See if it'll focus on that. When you can pick that carbon out of there, you know it's time to clean it. It's getting cleaner. I know I touched on the scent of this earlier, but I really do like how this Clenzoil smells. Very pleasant, as opposed to some gun cleaning chemicals out there on the market that have such a strong smell to them, where your wife might tell you, you better clean those guns outside because of how bad that stuff smells. Well, you might get away with using this Clenzoil in the house there. Well, with the help of Clenzoil, we got that Ruger Mark IV clean. We were able to use the microfiber cloth to protect our workbench here, and the picks and the brush to get the carbon out of that receiver. If you got a gun like an M1 Garand that calls for grease, well, they got you covered right here. And 4 different ways to apply their CLP product. A little needle oiler allows you to put it directly where you need it. And this little bottle right here with the spray top, that's a great size to go into your range bag. Not going to take up too much room. You got the larger bottles for when you get home. You got the spray top, but it also has the dropper top on it. And these saturated wipes are a lot nicer to use than trying to put solvent on paper towels. You saw I use them with the picks to get that carbon out of the receiver. Now, this is going to be a great gift for someone that you know who's a gun person. We're at the end of October, and man, Christmas is coming up quicker and quicker every year, it seems. So if you're looking to buy a gift for a gun person, consider one of these kits right here. Or if you're someone who's just looking to restock on cleaning chemicals, check out Clenzoil, and I think you'll be happy with the way this stuff smells. It's not going to knock you out when you're trying to use it. It has a very nice pine scent to it. So everybody, this has been another WV Guns and Goats video. I really appreciate you watching here till the end. And as always, if you're not out there having fun shooting, well, what are you doing? Maybe you finally decided to clean your firearms.